The rain is falling heavily against the windshield of your 2014 Toyota Camry. It is a Tuesday evening, 6:15 p.m., and the city traffic is a crawling river of red taillights. The sky is the color of bruised iron. The interior of your car is quiet, smelling faintly of old fabric and the black coffee you bought 3 hours ago. The engine idles with a dull, predictable hum. You are 39 years old. Idling in the lane directly next to you is a brand new midnight blue Porsche 911 Carrera. The rain beads beautifully on its ceramic-coated hood. The driver is a man named Julian. You know Julian. You went to the same university. You started at the same corporate firm 12 years ago, sitting in adjacent gray cubicles, earning the exact same entry-level salary. Julian is currently the vice president of marketing for a mid-sized tech firm. Julian makes roughly $350,000 a year. You look through the rain-streaked glass. Julian's jaw is clenched tight. The blue light from his dashboard illuminates a deep furrow between his eyebrows. He is aggressively gripping the leather steering wheel, visibly enraged by the gridlock, tapping his foot, completely consumed by the desperate need to move forward. He looks like a man who is suffocating inside a pressurized cabin. The light turns green. The Porsche's exhaust erupts in a violent engineered roar, and Julian aggressively cuts into the next lane, desperate to gain a mere 50 feet of advantage before the next red light. You do not accelerate hard. You slowly release the brake. You let the Toyota roll forward at its own pace. You are not in a hurry. You are entirely at peace. Society looks at the two of you through the lens of pure velocity and visible metal. Society looks at the midnight blue Porsche and assumes Julian has conquered the world. Society looks at your faded silver Toyota and assumes you have been left behind in the dust of mediocrity. Society is fundamentally blind to the silent, invisible mechanics of time. Julian is driving a machine that consumes his wealth. You are driving a machine that protects yours. The Silent Factory. When you and Julian received your very first paychecks 12 years ago, you both faced the exact same psychological crossroad. The money arrived in your checking account like a sudden rush of oxygen. The immediate societal instinct is to exchange that money for visible status. Julian bought a luxury watch and financed a German sedan to signal to the world that he was no longer a student. He traded his raw capital for the illusion of arrival. You did not buy a watch. You did not upgrade your car. You understood a mathematical truth that most people refuse to acknowledge because it is deeply boring. You understood that $1 is not a coupon to be redeemed for a physical object. $1 is a seed. Or, more accurately, $1 is a microscopic employee. 12 years ago, you took 20% of your meager salary and you sent those dollars into the absolute darkness of a broad market index fund. You did not buy individual stocks. You did not trade crypto. You built an invisible factory in the cloud. In the beginning, the process was agonizing. It was physical friction. For the first 4 years, you sacrificed dinners, vacations, and social status. You watched your peers wear designer clothes while you wore clearance rack shirts. You logged into your brokerage account, and the numbers felt pathetic. You had $20,000, then $40,000. The growth was so slow it felt like watching a glacier move. The market dipped, and you lost months of savings in a single Tuesday afternoon. But you did not panic. You did not stop. You kept feeding the machinery. You understood that compounding interest is not a straight line. It is a sleeping giant that requires a massive runway of time to wake up. You were not trying to get rich quickly. You were systematically constructing a gravitational field. The tipping point of gravity. By your early 30s, the math began to mutate. The invisible factory you built started to run on its own. It happened quietly, without a parade or a congratulatory email. You remember the exact month the reality of it hit you. You were 34. You had accumulated just over $300,000 in the brokerage account through relentless, boring discipline. The market had a strong year, returning roughly 12%. You sat at your kitchen table in December, looking at the annual statement on your laptop screen. Your portfolio had generated $36,000 in pure invisible profit that year. You stared at that number until your vision blurred. $36,000. That was more money than you made in your entire first year out of college. Your money had worked harder than you did. Your money did not commute in the rain. Your money did not deal with aggressive managers. Your money did not need sleep, health insurance, or a weekend. Your money simply existed in the dimension of time, absorbing the growth of the global economy while you slept. That was the moment the psychological chain snapped. You realized that you had crossed the invisible threshold. You had weaponized time. Every single morning, while you drank your coffee, the snowball was rolling down the hill, gathering mass at a speed that human labor could no longer match. The dinner of debt. It is now year 12. You are sitting in an upscale, dimly lit steakhouse in the financial district. The air smells of roasted garlic, expensive cologne, and charred meat. You are sitting across the table from Julian. He invited you to celebrate his recent promotion to vice president. Julian orders a $200 bottle of Cabernet without looking at the price. He is wearing a custom-tailored suit. His Rolex catches the ambient light of the restaurant. He looks like the cover of a business magazine. But as the wine disappears, the polished exterior begins to crack. Julian leans over the white tablecloth. His voice drops into a hushed, frantic tone. He starts talking about interest rates. He complains about the ballooning property tax on his 5-bedroom house in the suburbs. He complains about the $3,000 monthly lease on the Porsche. He complains about the crushing cost of the private school for his 2 daughters. He looks at you with bloodshot eyes and says, "I make $350,000 a year, and I swear to God, if I miss 2 paychecks, the entire house of cards collapses. I am completely trapped." You sit back in your leather chair. You listen to the terror in his voice. Julian has spent the last decade building a magnificent high-speed treadmill. He has to run at an absolute sprint 60 hours a week just to avoid being thrown off the back. He earns in the top 1% of the country, yet he is effectively living paycheck to paycheck. His lifestyle has expanded to consume every single dollar he produces. He did not use his money to buy freedom. He used his money to buy a heavier set of golden handcuffs. You look down at your plate. You currently make $130,000 a year at your comfortable, low-stress job. But Julian does not know the silent math beneath the table. Julian does not know that your boring index fund is now sitting at $1.2 million. Julian does not know that last year, your invisible factory generated over $100,000 in passive compound growth. You are technically making almost the same amount of money as the vice president sitting across from you, but you are only actively working for half of it. The other half is being manufactured by the sheer force of time. The collapse of the consumer. 6 months after that dinner, the economy contracts. A recession hits the tech sector with brutal efficiency. Companies panic. Budgets are slashed. Your phone rings on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. It is Julian. His voice is hollow. He tells you that his firm underwent a massive corporate restructuring. His entire department was eliminated. He was let go without a severance package because he was a relatively new executive. The panic in the silence over the phone is deafening. Julian is suddenly a man free-falling from an airplane without a parachute. The mortgage is due in 2 weeks. The Porsche lease is absolute. The private school tuition is non-refundable. The massive machinery of his lifestyle demands fuel immediately, and his engine has just been permanently shut off. He asks you if you know anyone hiring. He asks if he can borrow $5,000 just to cover the immediate property tax installment. The tragedy of Julian is not that he lost his job. The tragedy is that he spent a decade earning millions of dollars, and he allowed time to slip through his fingers. He exchanged his irreplaceable youth for depreciating metal, fragile prestige, and the fleeting admiration of strangers. He is 40 years old, and he has to start entirely over. The ultimate luxury. It is a Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. The sky is a brilliant, uninterrupted blue. You are not in a cubicle. You are not in a status meeting. You are sitting on a wooden bench in a quiet city park, holding a paper cup of coffee. The breeze is cool against your face. You took the day off simply because you felt like looking at the trees. You pull your phone out of your pocket. You do not check your work email. You open your brokerage app. The number on the screen is silent. It does not roar like a sports car exhaust. It does not sparkle like a luxury watch. It is just a digital string of digits, currently sitting at $1.4 million. You smile, lock the screen, and slide the phone back into your pocket. You finally understand the greatest secret of the modern world. Money is not a tool designed to purchase luxury objects. Luxury objects are a trap designed to separate fools from their capital. True wealth is completely invisible. It is the absence of anxiety. It is the refusal of an alarm clock. It is the ability to walk away from an abusive boss, a toxic environment, or a demanding client without a single second of hesitation. Money uses time to make you rich, but only if you have the discipline to let it work in the dark. The ultimate status symbol is not a midnight blue Porsche parked in a VIP lot. The ultimate status symbol is the absolute sovereign ownership of your own Tuesday morning. You take a sip of your coffee. The city rushes violently around you, everyone sprinting toward an illusion. You lean back against the bench entirely still, watching the clouds move, letting the silent gravity of compounding pull you further and further into absolute freedom.